America kind of depresses me. And not just because it's raining in Southern California. Like, what the... I came here for sun.
It's not the sheer amount of time people spend in their cars. Actually, that's one of those things, like, I noticed how empty everything feels. Like, where is everybody? And then I realized everybody's out here. They're just in their cars. You're not really... It doesn't feel like you're crossing paths with other people if they're in their own little mobile offices. Or boutique. I don't know what you'd call a car anymore. I don't know. I haven't owned a car in 15 years. Can you believe that? Although I will say the amount of space that cars take up around here is wild. It's not even the rampant consumerism, even though that feels like extra low-hanging fruit around Christmas. I don't even have to travel to see this because I find it all over the internet, but it feels more pronounced here. And that's everything is a scam now. Or theft outright. Like nobody's really trying to add value so much as extract it. Just take it. Take. And I think that's the thing that's one of two things that really strikes me when I land in the States. And the other one is a little bit of a comparison thing, especially for what I do for a living, but also just lifestyle. The everything is a scam part is pretty straightforward. And it's just because as a business owner, it gets discouraging when it looks like the only way to get ahead anymore is to try and screw people out of what they have, whether it's crypto or AI or, all the bill of goods that get packaged up and sold off. It's really easy for it to feel, especially in the tech space and having my own tech product, whether or not we market it as that, like the only way you can really get ahead is to just drill down and pull every cent out of people, make the enshittification thing. We were talking about that earlier. And as somebody who's trying to build a business where everybody wins, like I want my team to win, I want the local businesses in Paris to win, and I want visitors to the city to win. I want everybody to get something out of it. I'd like it to be a virtuous cycle in that way. That's ultimately my goal. And it's really hard. It's a lot. It takes a lot of work to build something like that. A lot of time, a lot of energy. And when you end up looking around and seeing people doing so much better than you for reasons that are very hard to understand sometimes, you never know for sure. It's very easy when I'm landing here with a little bit of jet lag, a little bit of exhaustion, and now that I'm sick because my nephew's, hanging out with kids around Christmas. We iced some cookies yesterday, which is really nice, and have had a wonderful time. But the last few days I've been pretty under the weather. And all that adds up into a little bit of like existential, what am I doing with my life kind of moments. The other element that always comes into this is comparison, which is something I come back to occasionally on this channel, the thief of joy, as it were. But when you're in the States, especially when it comes to like content creators and authors, just the creation of stuff in general, I don't think anybody does it better or more of it. And I see how much stuff is happening on this side of the pond and sometimes wonder, like, did I miss the boat? Have I made mistakes? Should I have kept up with the book writing that I was doing here? Should I have just stuck it out? Those kinds of questions, especially when you see how much more like just business goes on, how many more opportunities are available in the States than in Europe. I think Europe's starting to catch up to the creator economy, whatever. But is it? I don't know. And thankfully, I do have answers to this. Like, the first would be, like, no get-rich-quick stuff. Like, don't worry so much about figuring out how to hack your way to wealth as quickly as possible. Ow. The slow, steady route is one that I bought into for a long time, as much as I would be tempted to get rich quick. As much as a lot of the people writing the books behind me would say there's no other way to get rich. I think building intentional, long-term, steady community around quality, building trust, building reputation, and trying to pursue something where everyone does win. I don't want to be somebody who just takes. I don't want to be somebody who only wins if I can screw other people over. I want to be somebody who carries everyone around me with me into something bigger and brighter in the future. And reminding myself of that is very important, just because that's actually what I want to do. And two, that gives me the patience to do it slowly. Even if there are times like right now where I'm like, man, I would love to be somewhere that I'm not. Can we just skip ahead to the good times? But it's really important to remember that right now, what we're living in is always the good times. Enjoy it as much as you can, because you never know what's coming down the road. And anyways, I mean, it's not sad if you're not just enjoying the moment you're living in right now. The other is to quit looking at where other people are at and just look where I was a decade ago. Like, I've lived in France for almost over a decade of my life now. I've lived in Paris for almost a decade of my life. We're coming up on the 9-year anniversary of this round. And you look at where I was when I jumped into it, like on the verge of going bankrupt, on the tail end of a bunch of business failures, what felt like very personal failures. Lost a loan. I hadn't even started therapy yet. I hadn't dug into so many things that I needed to figure out. And if I just look back a few years at how I would have handled certain things, like on this trip, getting sick with the kids, like dealing with family stuff, dealing with my mom's death a few months ago, dealing with all these things, and how much better I'm able to handle all of it process it and deal with it. Like from an emotional standpoint, from the fact that I got my French citizenship standpoint, my life is secure in France now. The ability to fly over here, I didn't intend to come back to the States so quickly. I've been in California 3 times in the last 5 months, which is a little bit much, but I came just because my sister needed me as much as anything. Well, that's the only reason that I came out. Otherwise, I was not going to come for Christmas, and I'm actually not staying for Christmas. And the fact that I have her in my life, even if my extended family has proven to be pretty hit or miss, and I'm still working through things with my dad, who's lovely, and I'm so grateful that he's hosting, that I have my sister, I have my friends. I have so much going for me. I'm actually very rich in friends, and my team is amazing. My business is going well, even if I'm not striking it rich anytime soon. And I can wander into a bookstore, buy a book off of a recommendation from a friend. My life's pretty good at the end of the day. I don't have a lot to complain about. And if I can remember that, then looking at other people being in other places doesn't necessarily affect me so much. I shouldn't compare myself up or down the ladder. I want to compare myself to where I was before. I had so much more energy when I started this video. Not out of the woods yet, it would seem. Whew, I need to go lie down for a minute. Thanks, of course, to Jack and all my patrons for making this possible. This decoration was too good of a shot to pass up. I was thinking about talking about how the cost of things is exorbitant, how getting sick here makes me think of the healthcare here, all these things. There's a lot about the States that I do find that I struggle with, especially as somebody who grew up here, who still identifies as American, even as I also identify as French. I ran into a French family from the Basque Country earlier and started talking to them, and they thought I was French for a while, which is always nice. Probably just because they're so used to hearing no French whatsoever. Maybe they're also sick and they can't hear very well because their ears are stuffed up. But I think it's really important to stop and take stock because it does feel like so many things are crumbling and the world is more hostile in so many ways than it was even a year ago. And I know for me, when I fall into these little funks, a lot of times I have to remind myself this is just where I'm at. Like physically, I am tired and working and sick and jet lagged and all those things. They can have a real impact on how I see the world. And so reminding myself of that is very important first. But then second, doing the 2 exercises that I just mentioned, one of which recommitting to the values that I have as far as quality, community, friendship, all those things. And then second, not comparing myself to anybody else except for past me and looking to the future, thinking about who do I want future me to be? Where do I want to be in another 5 years, 10 years, emotionally, spiritually, business-wise, relationally, all those things. And thinking in those terms and that vertical that's just me really, really helps a lot because, man, am I proud of myself. I've come a long ways. I'm really, really grateful for that. Anyways, I'm going to leave you with these balls and go back to family time. I think we're dressing up for a Muppet Christmas Carol tonight, so I've got to make sure I've got my costume ready for that. And I'll see you bright and early one of these mornings very soon from Bonnie Old Paris.